what's at the heart of Cambridge academic performance is helping students perform to the best of their ability, and that might be academically, but it could be in their lives as well. So it depends on the individual student, but more than anything we want to help them feel that they are getting the best out of their lives and the best out of their personal performance. And we view it a bit like an athlete, in the way that an athlete would work within their lives. They have to get the balance of work, rest and play right, and they have to peak at the right moment. It's the same for students. If they spend their whole time working, they won't rest, they won't recuperate, and they won't be able to peak in those pivotal moments like exams. So we want to help students optimise their efforts. The type of coping strategies that we use, well, we use a variety. It does depend on the individual students. But if I think about a student perhaps who's struggling with stress, and this is very common, we would look at things like stress reduction techniques, anxiety management. We might look at some of their beliefs. Very often we get highly stressed when we believe we're not doing enough work. And actually it's really helpful to unpack that with somebody and have a look at whether that's actually true. We usually compare ourselves to others, and we might struggle to recognise our own strengths and our own efforts. We might also look at students' daily activities and their work, rest and play balance. We might look at those things. Often I find that students are putting in enormous efforts actually, but they might be putting them into areas that aren't really helping them. So they might be studying very hard but ineffectively, and just the opportunity to talk about that and explore it can radically change their approach. This is the kind of thing, these are the kind of coping strategies we use. When I'm talking about the students we work 14 years and over. So you can imagine we're working with students with all sorts of issues, and we're going from GCSE level, or just moving into GCSE level, to PhD level, postdoc. So the issues are broad, but the kind of strategies and the approach we use is consistent, and it's about how do you focus, how do you perform well, and what do you need to be doing to enable yourself in the best possible way right now. The average time that students come to see us for is roughly about 6 sessions, and in general we offer a 6-session package. However, we meet with students first of all for a half-hour session. We do that for free, because we want students to see if they feel comfortable with us, and we want to see if we can identify something that's going to be worth working on. If we think this is just a 3-session, like Sherlock Holmes' 3-pipe problem, if it's a 3-session problem, that's what we'll go for. But in general, 6 sessions. I have worked with some students for longer. That's because they're choosing to have a coach running along beside them for a longer period of time. So that's really a kind of maintenance session where they know me well, I know them well, and they know that they can come back and just get that ongoing support. So my background is I'm trained as an occupational therapist, and I've worked within the mental health services in Cambridgeshire for 10 years within the NHS. And from within that role, I could see that we were getting significant numbers of students coming into acute services, in fact. And it seems such a pity to me that certainly my particular professional role as an occupational therapist, we weren't out there and available for people to access us. You had to be really quite ill by the time you would get to work with somebody like me. So I wanted to bring that opportunity out of the NHS. So that's where my role is. Many years experience specialising in working with students and seeing that occupational therapy, it doesn't sound very groovy, I have to say, but it really is brilliant for working with students, because what we are fusing is a therapeutic approach, the therapy bit, and occupation. So, and when we talk about occupation, we mean the activities that are important to you, that are meaningful to you. And for many students, that's their academic life. Or it might be their friendships, or it might be their health. But what's meaningful to you, we can work on that in a practical way, but we can also bring in a therapeutic approach when needed. In 5 years, Cambridge academic performance, I'd love to see us very well established in Cambridge, working with many more students, so they know about us. It's a very well known service that you can come to as an independent student and paying for that service should you choose, or your parents paying for it. But also much more established in the colleges and schools in Cambridge. So we are currently working within several colleges, and they pay us directly for our time, and we work with the students. And I would like to see a lot more of that happening, because essentially we don't want the barriers for students. And we can see that the work that we do helps students immensely. So it improves their grades, it prevents students from leaving and dropping out, and it prevents major mental health issues actually. So in the future, 5 years from now, more occupational therapists working in this way, and perhaps starting to grow nationally maybe.